Welcome in. Michael Murray here with Ben Zinga, Brian Esposito, CEO of Diamond Lake Minerals, and Lawrence Wintermeyer from Avrio joining us here. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. How are you?
Doing great, Michael. How are you today?
Doing well. Gentlemen, pleasure to have you both. Lawrence, we've got a couple of questions for you. Brian, we have a couple of questions for you, but very exciting to have you both here with us to share the story about what's going on. We want to hear more about the strategic investment Diamond Lake Minerals has made into Avrio specifically and what this means for investors. Brian, can you kick us off and give us some context here?
Absolutely. So it's been an honor to work with Lawrence and his team over the last few months on putting the strategy together for how DLMI and Avrio will go out into the global markets together. The synergies, the alignment here is everything you can think of, from regulatory to experience, just true professionals that understand where the market is going, what we need to do to have a great piece of that market, provide value to our shareholders, our future security token and digital asset owners. So from our standpoint, we could not have picked a better partner or investment to go into this next chapter of our company with. And we're so honored to be working with Lawrence and his team.
Fantastic. And Lawrence, I'm going to turn it immediately to you too. What does Avrio do specifically? Can you give us some context around the company and what it does?
Yeah, there's a couple of big important things we do. The first thing we do is offer registered digital financial market infrastructure. And that is for our business partners, whether we're processing transactions on private markets, public markets, or digital markets through any of our registered platforms. The second thing we do is products. Again, ETFs, ETXs are very popular these days, structured products that include crypto or digital assets. And so we've got a Wall Street team that has a background in infrastructure, digital infrastructure, coming together with a product team that understand products for retail and wholesale markets. So the hookup with DLMI is pretty exciting for us because of the range and the network of companies in the group. And as Brian said, this is just a great, exciting strategic opportunity for us to put our assets and teams and talent together.
Excellent. And I'm going to ask this question to both of you, starting with you, Brian, to take a larger look at this conversation. Why do you think tokenization of digital assets is the way of the future?
Well, there's been some great recent news about a number. I think it's 16 trillion, Lawrence, that's going to be coming to the market for potential real-world asset tokenization. So you look at a number like that and you look at who's going to be able to be an authority in that space, a credible authority in that space. That's one of the key reasons why DLMI, when we re-strategized the vision of the company when I took over in August of 2023, was aligning ourselves with some amazing, exceptional icons and advisors across multiple different industries. So we're not going into this real world asset tokenization model with picking one specific industry. We want to be an authority and global leader in this space across all different types of industries like precious metals, real estate, music IP, TV, film, and media. So in order to do that, you need to have access to these industries, which is why we have these incredible advisors supporting the vision of our company. And then to further do that correctly, you need to be aligned with seasoned professionals like Lawrence and his team. Like you mentioned, these are Wall Street people. They understand regulatory. They understand how to bring these offerings to market in a legal format where we don't have to worry about, basically so we can sleep at night. So from our standpoint is, so much wealth has been created with all these different isolated offerings in the market. From my view, my lens, I don't see really anybody doing it with the correct strategy as it relates to rules, regulations, and law on a global basis. We want to be that entity. And the only way that we could achieve to do that, again, was to invest into Avrio and to work with this team hand in hand. So now, going forward, we know we have the cream of the crop of professionals that know how to do this. They know how to create markets, they know how to bring things to market. And we have the access to relationships and the experience on building these businesses to provide real true value for our stockholders and our security token holders.
Excellent. And Lawrence, same question for you. Can you speak to the tokenization of digital assets just in a broad sense and why you see this being the way in the future?
Well, Larry Fink at BlackRock is doing a great job for all of us, estimating that there's a 16 trillion opportunity. But I think the answer to the $64,000 question is that tokenization will give all of us, whether we're businesses or retail consumers, access to growing assets and wealth, full stop, that only a small number of people have access to now. And whether that's in debt markets, private markets, commodities, property, it's all about liquidity, 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 and freeing that up and then making sure consumers and businesses have access to it. And I couldn't agree with Brian more. if you're a business owner, the opportunity to tokenize your assets and free up liquidity, make that more efficient, or in fact, create new assets. And as we move into this digital future, create new assets out of your analog or your organic products and be able to and have people take a stake in that. That's an exciting area that's breaking out. I see Brian's got tons of collectibles behind him. That whole market in itself is actually huge. So, again, we're pretty excited about this. But what we would say is at the heart of all of this is one, having registered securities and a regulated business, but two, people that understand identity and provenance and security in Web3 as it scales, because this is really going to require a level of security and counterparty interaction that we've just not seen in Web 2. And so, our job is to replumb Web 3 and make sure that it's successful and scalable, but safe for everyone, particularly in the tokenization space.
Absolutely. And Michael, real quick, to piggyback what Lawrence mentioned, giving global audience, because they have a smartphone now, the opportunity to buy into something that they never had the opportunity to buy into has been our ethos, since I've got into security token offerings. Secondary to that, if we can create a pipe or a funnel to offset volatility in a giant correction, whether that's a commercial real estate market or if that's another industry that collapses because all the traditional access to capital and funding has dried up, but now you can go to a global audience of billions of people that can throw a few bucks into something. That changes the game for the ability to bring liquidity and capital into great companies, projects, or assets that either could become dormant, distressed, which causes a ripple effect into destroying the local economies and then the giant economies. So we want to be an access point or a funnel for that to help offset major global corrections, which I believe there's a lot of capital in the world that never had access to these types of assets or these opportunities. And we want to be that global leader to be able to open that up.
Wonderful. Now I'm going to ask both of you this question to end things. And Brian, I'm going to start with you, and then Lawrence, I'll turn it back your direction. What else is on the horizon for this relationship specifically between Diamond Lake Minerals and Avrio?
Well, certain specific things we can't release due to public company nature, but right now we've finally put out into the market that our partnership and our investment is public. We've been working on this very hard as to what does the roadmap look like and how do we execute correctly on this and really create value. We need to knock it out of the park from the beginning, because you can't come back from a misstep or something that we didn't anticipate, not a success in. From our viewpoint, we've got a lot of great work and efforts in the music industry. We've got great partners there that I'm bringing over from my private holdings. And we know the commercial real estate space is really prime for some savior to come in to help these banks and help these building or development owners be able to access capital. So our efforts right there are aligning these opportunities. We've got really great marketable brand names, celebrity type of people. We have all that support to bring awareness to what we're doing. But at the end of the day, we need to bring real vetted projects and opportunities to the market. We need to do this correctly. We need to execute on something that we can rinse and repeat that provides value for everybody involved. So it's crucial for us to pick the right projects, the right opportunities, work together and make sure we knock this out of the park. And then, like I said, just copy and paste with other great projects that we see and have opportunities in.
Excellent. And Lawrence, the final question for you too. The future of the horizon of this partnership. Again, Brian said certain things we can't disclose due to the nature of public companies, of course, but maybe a note too on what you're excited about as this partnership moves forward and we see this relationship continue to progress.
Well, the whole Avrio team is excited about a number of things. And again, we can't disclose the roadmap, but I'd like to pick up a point that Brian makes that's really important to us. We're focused on where the money is and making the money, but we're bringing a diverse community of asset owners and people who have different businesses that have never had access to Wall Street before or to a Wall Street team in technology. And so I think you'll find a lot of the earlier plays off of the roadmap are quite inclusive and are actually monetizing and bringing liquidity to markets that Wall Street hasn't traditionally paid attention to. That's a really important part of the union that it is that we're bringing together. In fact, we're bringing segments to Wall Street as part of this deal. So the Avrio team is really excited and watch this space.
Outstanding. Gentlemen, can't thank you both enough for sitting down out of what I'm sure are very busy schedules and sharing more about what's coming up next. Brian Esposito, CEO of Diamond Lake Minerals, Lawrence Wintermeyer representing Avrio. Gentlemen, congratulations on this significant partnership and looking forward to seeing what comes next.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Benzinga, for everything.